Welcome to the 25th episode of ML Backstage. My name is Mars Luna,
And I'm Ethan.
and we're introducing this podcast straight from the sixth dimension. This is a music commentary podcast hosted by Joshua Luna, and we got a special guest, the Johnny Cash of rap, Roman.
Goodness gracious, that was ridiculous.
I know. Due to time differences, Kainalu Kamai and Holokahiki Toves were not able to make it this time. In this episode, Joshua and Roman are going to recap the best life and dirt collaborations I did with Roman, and just talking shop about music, life on Earth, and everything else in between. Back to planet Earth we go!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 25 of the ML Backstage podcast. I'm Joshua Luna here, and I got a special guest today. Got my homie, Nick Velasquez, aka better known as Roman.
Yeah.
Thanks for hopping on today, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's my day off. Just been enjoying it, chilling. I'm cool. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. It's a fun little season that I'm in right now. I spent the last couple months, because I work at a church, preparing for Easter. You know what I'm saying? We've been preparing since February, and now that's done, and now it's I got a lot of bachelor parties, birthday parties, weddings, and more work and more music coming up. So
That's what's up.
busy, but I can't complain. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and Kainalu Kamai and Holokahiki Toves are not going to be able to make it today because of time differences and stuff like that. We're all separated by 6 hours, but Nick and I, Roman and I are here in Vegas, so it's it is what it is. So Nick and I, Roman and I do music together. We actually released a song called "My Best Life" last month, and we're about to get into that. But tell me a little bit about your, how do you know me or Mars Luna and your creative journey from the beginning to where it is right now?
Man, I've been trying to think about it, how I had met you, and I think the only way I could pinpoint it is through Kyle.
Yep.
Through Kyle Lowry.
Yep. Shout out to Kyle.
Shout out to Kyle, one of the homies.
Yes,
I don't know your guys' origin, but I just vaguely remember him introducing you to me, and then having each other on social medias, and then having you over the studio a few times where I was at, and just being like, he was really talented.
Yeah.
And then there we did dirt together, and then I remember you were doing music with Daniel, aka Silo. So I remember you,
yes, sir.
And so you had other reasons to come to the studio and stuff like that, and kick it.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where I'll say that's where the origin, where our friendship started, and been a minute now. I want to say at least like three years now.
Right. I would say that, yeah, because I think about it, because I met Kyle in 2019, so that's probably when I met you. I was trying to think about when I first met you. I think it was probably in that house where you and Kyle used to live. And then I think it was probably because I did a show with Kyle back in November of that year, and then I think because you pulled up to that show, but you weren't there for a long time.
Yeah, I remember it.
And then we did a show, and then I did a show with Silo or Daniel, the next month afterwards, and then I think that's when I started to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of like a weird, loosely connected group of people.
Yeah, no,
I guess.
Sure.
But it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when did you start making? So tell me more about your personal creative journey. When did you start, and how did you get to where you are now?
So with me, music has always been there for me. When I was around 30, oh shoot, I'm covering the camera.
Oh no, you're good. You're good, bro. You good?
When I was around 13, I would say I really got into music. Just I had a family friend of my dad's that was rapping, and he was like, this is what goes into making songs. It piqued my interest, and then I remember getting a music making software. I remember getting FL Studios 8 at the time on my laptop, and just being like, "Whoa, you can make beats on your computer!" Like the whole concept was so crazy to me, bro. I was like, "Ain't no fucking way." And I just remember being in hours on YouTube, and I was 12, 13 years old, like just researching. Like back then, this is before like the internet producer was a thing. Like you had to really search for tutorials on how to make stuff. Like it was when YouTube was still fresh, you know what I'm saying? Or Facebook bought it and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was just so new back then. I just remember getting into it and like just listening to artists that I looked up to and how their quality was. Because for some reason, I just wanted to rap. I wanted to rap, but it's never that easy when you're trying to make music on your own. So I picked up beat making. I picked up engineering along the way. And to my surprise, like I fell in love with the engineering process. Like that became so fun to me. And that's just been my process of music in my life. Creative process, man. I make a lot of stuff based off emotion. I've always been like that. Especially with songs we've done together. Like you've been on 2 of my songs where their contrast is day and night.
Oh yeah, we about to get into that for sure.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my process. I like to make the beat first, find out what I want to talk about, and then I'll just go from there. It's very based off emotion, and whatever emotion I'm feeling, I'll go for it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you say you started when you were 12, 13, and how old are you now?
I'm 27 now.
27. So we've been doing it for about 15 years. That's
dope.
Thank you. Yeah, I've seen a lot of growth from you, probably like ever since I met you, because you were like straight rapping, right? And I think the very first time, now that I'm thinking about it a little more, the first time I saw you perform was at one of Kyle's shows. Probably.
It
was at that church. I don't remember what church it was. I think it was like Calvary Chapel or something like that. And then like I saw like, okay, it was you, Kyle, Daniel,
and another homeboy of mine that I had. I do remember that. It was one of his album release parties, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And I remember you like, okay, like Kyle's like this Christian rapper dude, and I was like, okay, we're playing at this church, and like, everything was cool, whatever. But then like, okay, like kind of knowing you now and like knowing a little bit more of your life story, because you carry a lot of baggage and skeletons and stuff, and you carry a lot of that in your music. And I was like, this is cool, but like now hearing the type of stuff that you've made over like the last 2 years or so, or like, well, I wouldn't count like 2021 because but yeah, like the last couple of years has been like, it's been a cool little transformation. It's like I see the growth, you know what I'm saying? So
appreciate that.
I'm not saying that because you're on here, but I'm saying that because it's for real. So
no, I appreciate the lie. I feel that too. I feel like this point in time, I'm the artist I've always wanted to be, and I feel like I'm the artist most true to myself. That's kind of. I feel like I'm most true to myself. Not like I wasn't true to myself back then. I just felt like I was doing a lot of soul searching as a person, especially as an artist. And I feel like now I'm in a place in life where it's like, no, this is who I am, this is who I want to be, and this is who I'm comfortable with. And I think comfortability is probably the strongest thing.
Yeah, right. You're, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like, yeah, you're comfortable in your own skin now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we worked on your latest song, My Best Life, which released last month. And I saw the video got almost like 1,000 views on it. I was like, okay.
Oh, it already has, man.
For real? No way. That's what's up. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's the fastest my music's ever got that much views within a time of releasing it. So doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the videographers too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Tomas Redman, and Cody Redman.
Yep.
Oh my God, those dudes. I owe them so much, man. So much. I'm so grateful for those guys, man. They came into my life as people that just supported my music, and then they were like, "Hey, we want to be a part of your music and your life." And I was like, "All right, bet." And then when it came down to me being at my lowest, they're one of the people that really came in and like showed how much they cared, not only about my music but about my life. And man, they're just there with me to like do something with this music thing, and I'm super appreciative for them, like forever.
For sure.
Man.
Yeah, you're cool dudes. But yeah, like tell me about what My Best Life was about, and the process behind the video and the song and stuff like that.
So My Best Life, pretty much, man, it was I was just making a random beat one night, and I was like, I just found this loop on Splice. Shout out to Splice. All my producers know what that is.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
I was like, this shit sounds cool. This sounds all right. And so I made the drums, and I was like, living my best life right now. And it was a simple ass hook. I remember thinking, this is simple as hell. But I remember thinking, being selective with what I said on the hook. Like, you know, I survived all the bullshit. It's very much relatable stuff people can feel.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going for simplicity on the hook. And I was like, I felt that. Then I started writing the first verse, and I was like, damn, this is actually pretty dope. Like, I'm feeling this. And so I sent it over to Tomas, you know, and he was like, all right, let's do a one-take video of it. I'm like, all right, man, one take. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then I kept hearing the song over, and I'm like, this shit just sounds so dope. And I remember, like, I wonder how it would sound with somebody that actually can sing on the hook. So that's when I thought of you. I was like, you know, I'm gonna send this off to Josh and see what he can do. And I was like, hey man, like, you know, I remember sending it to you and be like, hey, do what you want to do. You know, here's the rough copy. Yeah. And then I remember like, yo, I feel like it's missing something. So shout out to my boy Justice Wilson for coming in the clutch, adding some extra guitars, some extra bass lines in there. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna send it off to him. And I hit him up, I was like, hey, can you do something with it? And he did. Lord behold, he did. And you guys sent it back around the same couple of days. And I put that shit together, and I was like, damn. So I added a second verse to it. Then I remember sending the thing to Tomas. He goes, oh, this can't be a one take, bro. Like, this is a song. And so, yeah, it was very much like out of the, like, I was like, all right, bet. So you sent in your chorus, you sent in your bridge that you did, which was, that threw me off in such a good way. I was just like, oh shit, like, he said the whole bridge, a whole third verse, you want to call it that? Like, that was dope. And so we were like, all right, what should we do for a video? And it felt very, very summertime. Right. It felt very much summertime vibes, Cali vibes. You know, we live in Vegas. And so we were, to be honest, I was like the most, or the least, that was the least resource video we ever done. A lot of videos we've done were on, you know, film sets. We had to rent out hotel rooms. We've had to get a couple actresses.
Right.
But what was dope about this, it was just done super organically. I had a friend of mine that I knew from my sister. I was like, hey, like, you know, can I borrow your cars again? And, you know, shout out to Jose for letting me use his cars for a second time. So we rolled up to the spot. We did that, and then we had the idea of having a barbecue in the backyard, just everybody chilling. And I just went through my contact list of all my close people, and I was like, hey, free food's gonna be there. So and then shout out to my barber as well. Shout out to Lisa and her husband for being part of the video. The little haircut thing we were doing, that was something that she pitched to me about a year ago, and she's like, this would be so dope. That'd be cool. Like, I don't know how I would have fit that in, you know, to my music at the time. And I just remember thinking this song, I'm like, yo, this would be the perfect opportunity. Right. And so we able to fit it in, and the video just became, man, probably the best thing that me and Tomas have done together. And it came out so beautiful, man. We shot it over the weekend, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I was talking to Tomas and Cody. That was the only weekend that month where it didn't rain.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Vegas was going through that weird spell where it was like raining every other day.
Man.
It was trying to get its rain quota for the year in that whole month. It's because Vegas rains like probably like 15 days total out of the whole year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting because like when we did the video, like I was coming down with something that weekend. Like
Really?
I think there was like a bug going around or something because like my nose was like my congestion was on a whole nother level. I couldn't really sleep. But I was like, nah, I had to thug it out. I had to push through it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I felt, you know, like physically, I was feeling just fine, with the exception of like my nose and everything. So it was weird. Like I didn't know what was going on, whether it was like allergies or whether it was like the flu or whatever. But I was like, I gotta come through for my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we had to, you know, I moved through it like several, you know, because we had to reschedule it like maybe once or twice. So
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't want
Well,
to
man,
have.
I'm glad you came through. I remember I told you when we put the video out that you did such an excellent job as an artist, like staying true to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel a lot of times when artists collaborate with other artists,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they have to match them in a way almost to kind of feel like, oh, I gotta look like this or I gotta sound like this when I'm collabing with this artist.
Right.
But like you were like we had a thing with the video. We had the '90s theme.
Yeah.
And everyone, you know, went little hood, you know, looking a little ghetto for it. But I just remember you were fresh as hell, bro. I ain't gonna lie. All three of your fits were dope. And I just remember thinking like, oh, like he really kept to himself. Like he really stayed himself. And
All
I
I
thought
heard
that
was
was super dope as an artist.
Yeah, because all I heard was '90s. So I was like, okay, I don't know how. I was like, I had an idea because I knew what your aesthetic was already, right? So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, okay, I can try to, you know, at least compliment it, right? At least compliment how you were gonna present it. But like, that's why I asked you for what your outfits were. So I was like, okay, I can see what I got in my closet and whatever. So I mean, it's like dichotomy of like trying to stay true to, okay, like how am I gonna approach not just myself but Mars Luna for this as well? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then because you know I couldn't do the whole full Mars Luna getup. I couldn't do the whole thing. It had to be more. I had to do like a little hybrid thing, if that makes any sense. So
No, I get you.
it had to be more of me as well as Mars Luna, but also understanding, you know, because we're pros, that, you know, this is because this was your song, and I wanted to do your song, do your song right. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
that was my mentality behind it. And I remember that we had like one small little hiccup, right? With because I woke up one morning, and I think because you were, I guess you showed the song to Kyle, you know, and see what he thought. And I was getting ready for work one morning, and I saw like Kyle, you know, giving a whole essay about like I listened to the song for like 40 minutes.
Shout out to Kyle and his essays though, man.
And I was like, bro, I don't have the energy to respond to all this right now. Let me just call him real quick. I gotta go. But I figured out what he was trying to say, you know, and it was the key change. But to me, again, speaking of professionalism, it was just more so like, as long as you liked what I did and you were comfortable with what you were putting out, because I mean, we're not going to impress everybody. You know what I'm saying? People are going to have different preferences and whatever they feel, you know what I'm saying, whatever they feel is necessary.
And he had a lot of good valid points.
Yeah, he did. He did. 100%.
Because I remember thinking some of the same things. I just remember being like, I feel like it would change the whole song though if we would approach it differently. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is why I'm kind of glad, like, we kind of stuck to what we had at first. Because I'm always open for correction. That's one thing that helped me with my growth for music.
Right.
Is being able to be corrected, being able to change things and make the song better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But I do remember going back and re-recording it with more hype, and I'm like, this sounds like too much. It sounds like I'm trying too hard. With the recording that we came out with, the final one, I felt genuine. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like there's real personable in that too. Like it felt very laid back, very chill. And I think the video complemented it, our
exceptionally
approach as well.
Yeah. Not for sure. And I figured, you know, because I told you, like, you know, even some of the songs that you did before, like it was always super aggressive. You went ham all the time. And it was just kind of like, you know what, maybe it is time for something a little different. You know what I mean? Like it's
No, I totally agree with that. And that's how I felt like I had leeway to just be more calm with it.
yeah. And other people other people enjoyed it too. So like, shout out to everyone who listened to My Best Life. You can peep that on Spotify and Apple or wherever you listen to music.
Go to YouTube, get the views up again.
Yeah, and or YouTube, go get that video up to I don't know, how many views is it on right now?
Man, it's like 1,032. Last time I checked, that was yesterday.
Oh shoot, 1,032. Get it to 1,000. Get it to 1,100.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And now, okay, so that was the latest song we did, My Best Life. And let's go the other end of the spectrum now, because the first song that we worked on together was a song called Dirt.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because it was like right smack dab in the middle of lockdown, and the vibe of that song is completely different from, it's not triumphant like My Best Life is. It
is very much not. That is a song that you listen to at 12 at night, drunk as hell, crying yourself. Right. You made every mistake possible to hurt your girl.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I can describe it. I'm trying to like this, it's not happening. Man, that's like Dirt. I don't know where to start with that one, man. So basically, Dirt is pretty much my confessional as a man. I wrote it specifically to somebody, to a girlfriend at the time. I had hurt emotionally and mentally, but it was also an open letter to ex, girlfriends that I had hurt. Also, the song is pretty much me as a man opening up about I don't know. I'm trying to sugarcoat it, but there's no way.
You don't have to, bro.
Yeah, it's about being unfaithful in relationships and just calling myself out. I was less of a man for hurting you like this. You deserve so much better. Like I'm sad that you moved on, but you deserve all the happiness that you're getting. And that's pretty much what Dirt came to be. It's pretty much just owning that stuff up to a man. And that song was really hard for me to do just because no man wants to admit like they're a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And it was very difficult for me. And I remember thinking like, this is what I want to talk about. Like I have a few words written down and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? Like I need to figure out what's the best way to elevate this kind of song somewhere. And I just remember having you in mind because you have such an angelic voice. And I remember having the chorus in my mind, something like that, something very angelic, very almost poppy. And I was like, I can come real hard in the verses and, tell her how I feel. And I remember you came to the studio and you laid down the chords. And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, I got chills, man. And we started making the beat there. And then I remember finishing the beat, adding a bunch of strings and choirs. And you came to record the hook after because I think it was like a 2-day session, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't very... Yeah, that sounds about right because it wasn't long at all.
Yeah,
I remember I came in. I remember I came in. I did the piano part. We recorded that, and then like once I solidified like the hook for it, then I went in the second time. From what I remember, anyway, because this was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, because I remember we took a whole session just to do the beat.
Yep. Yeah,
I remember that. And then once you came in, I think you came in another day and did the hook and did all the backup vocals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Production-wise, that's one of my favorite songs right there, just because it sounds so cinematic. Everything from the piano, the strings, the choir in there, and the backup choir that you did on your own, and your hook. Like I just remember, like after I got my emotions out of the way for the song, I was able to put my engineer hat on. And tell you to do certain things that I think would sound dope. And the harmonies you did on that, man, was to this day, take it to the grave, like that. So it's just always been like hard to me, like because I know there was like 5 layers in there that we did.
Right. There were a lot. I put my high school choir hat on for that one.
Nice. Nah, it came out.
What I did.
It came out good. But yeah, Dirt was one of those darker songs, and I just opened myself up as a man to be able to approach that. And I'm never gonna be proud of what the song is about.
Right.
But I am gonna be proud that I was able to address it and move on from it and learn from it and be a better person by being open about it. You know what I mean? And my whole goal of that song was for men that struggle with that shit like that, like I did back then. It's a real thing that happened. It's an unfortunate thing that happens in relationships.
Yeah.
But if somebody was to find relatability and comfort and somebody like me saying it openly in a song, then I felt like I felt like I did it right. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not just gonna. And I've always been. I'm in a mindset of like take the negative of what we have in life and use it for something. And so that was a very negative thing in my life, the stuff I was doing. So if I was able to take it to a song and use it for positive, then I felt like I'm doing good with it.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, for me, that was an easy one because like I also had baggage from like my past too. So I was like, I feel like in general, it's harder to make happier songs, and like, especially if you're a melancholic person like me, like it's
same.
Like it's like I wrote a song about that was basically my suicide note. On I don't know if you listen to 3 a.m. on Dark Matter, but
I vaguely remember. Yeah.
That's basically what that was. So,
wow.
So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff, but like, I mean, like you said, I think I want to touch on a point that you said earlier about like how pride it's like a huge obstacle for men. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard for dudes to apologize and to, at least confess or admit that you've done wrong because it hurts the ego so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that takes a lot of bravery, you know what I mean? And I also like, I want to go back to my best life real quick because I got some pushback for that. But I mean, like, for me, it's like for me, I mean, it's because of, Christianity and optics and stuff like that. But like, I know your background, you know what I'm saying? And I know like for me, it's like, you gotta love people where they at, you know what I mean? And people are going to grow like however way that they feel fit to grow, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes all you can do is just be there for them. And like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what for me, it's like, I know you've been through, I was even telling like some of my bosses, like, okay, like because they saw the video and it was just like, like this is the homie, this is my brother, he's gone through a lot, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't drink or anything from the barbecue, you know what I mean? And it's just like, sometimes like, sometimes the optics are not everything, right? And there's always context is always crucial and important, and it's everything. So that's just more of a general spiel. But yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there before I forget.
Yeah, no, and that's dope too. That kind of goes back to what I was saying, how you I don't want to say stick to your ground. It's not like you were bullied or anything. It's more like you just you were your own person throughout the whole process, which was super dope. And I remember thinking like, oh yeah, like make sure I wanted to make sure there was stuff like sodas and stuff like that for people that don't drink, because like not everyone's into that. And I drink, that's no question about that. But I'm always gonna respect someone's decision not to. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think no one should be questioned why they don't want to drink. I think if that's something they don't do, that's dope. Like you get to live the life, sober. Like that's super cool. Like some people need to, be not sober minded to go through stuff.
Right.
But yeah, no, you were yourself throughout the whole process of the song, man, and it was a dope experience. That song was a dope experience, and it's crazy how it just came to be, man. It was just supposed to be just a regular one take, and ended up being something else. And like you said, it is harder to make those happier songs.
Right.
It is, but this one felt super organic, and a few of my friends, one thing they said about the whole process of filming that's the happiest they've seen me. They never seen me that happy before.
Right.
And it feels good to make something genuine out of genuine happiness.
Right. Nah, that's I think that was like honestly a first for me too, because like, you know, I knew what you went through last year, and that made me want to help you with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's that's the homie. That's what true homies do. You know what I mean? And like,
I appreciate that a lot, man.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick timeout. I did send you another link, so I do have the basic plan for this. So just in case you go over, I sent you the next link
Gotcha.
So let's so we talked about My Best Life. We talked about Dirt. What is your favorite song or project that you've worked on?
Ah, man. Right now, that's a little hard because I'm in a process. I haven't announced this, but I'm in a process of putting out a song and a video every month.
Ooh,
so
there you go.
Something. Yeah, me, Tomas, and Cody, we have a plan to execute a song every month, and so
that's tough.
And compared to how I used to drop a song like every 5 months, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
To go from that to this, it's like, okay, what song do I like now after like pumping out, you know, so much back to back? Out of this moment right now, I got to say my favorite. I'm trying to think. This is my favorite song overall of mine. I gotta say, Join the Light.
I like that. I like that.
That one's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. For what the song represents, and it was a turning point in my creativity as an artist. You know, from style wise.
Yeah.
The video was one of the first times like I can look back and be like, yo, like I have a professional ass video. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
And, like all my videos will look amazing, you know, thanks to my friends Alex Ray and Tomas and Cody. I've always had good videos from those guys, but it was at that point I think me and the guys from Les Resman, like we took it to a elevation. We set a bar with Join the Light.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at that song like as an artist, like I was crossfaded. I ain't gonna lie, I was crossfaded as hell.
I could tell.
In a hotel room in California when I made the first verse.
Right.
And the song was, you know, and I made the beat, like it was just super genuine. And the song's an ultimate vibe. That's like my go-to to put somebody on. When I meet somebody, I'll be at a party and they'll be like, "Hey, you do music?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, all right, what do you got? My go-to is Join the Light because I got people that love that kind of music, that love that vibe music, but also people that like has a certain grit to it at the same time. It's not super soft, but you know, it's a good fine line right there. And
I would agree.
Yeah, even though it doesn't display a lot of my rapping technical skills, to me, I'm proud of that song.
It's a first. It's a great first. It's a good first impression song.
Yeah, thank you. And then I show them songs like My Best Life or Bomb, and you know, or Devils, and they're like, "Oh, this guy can actually rap." Like,
yeah, because my favorite from yours is Bomb.
Yeah,
that's my favorite mainly because of the beat. I think I heard it one time. I think you posted a snippet of that beat on Instagram, and I reacted to it or something like that. And I was like, it caught my attention right away. And I heard the first couple lines, and I was like, okay, I kind of know what this song's gonna be about. And the acronym was clever too. I like the acronym for it.
Shout out to Daniel Ortega, aka Silo, for that. I had him
he came up with that.
He came up with that, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I felt like Back on My Bullshit's a long title. And he goes, "Oh, just call it Bomb." I was like, "Oh, what?" My dumb ass didn't even put it together, bro. I just remember thinking, like, "This is genius. This is fucking genius."
Yeah, no. And then you said something about like you said something about like it's a super ratchet line, but it was like something about like something about atheist women praying to God or something like that. I was like, holy crap. I was like, okay.
So that's one of my best that's one of my best songs lyrically.
Yeah, I agree.
Flow wise, because I felt like I was really on.
He was in your bag. You were in your bag. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like a lot of people that heard me for a long time, they're like, "Yo, like you're kind of like not only are you wilding out lyric wise, like, but it flows and it like the syllables you're using, like as I made atheist bitches pray to God while hitting it. I don't know what possessed me to say that. It just sounded. I grew up on Eminem a lot. Okay.
Right. Yeah, because I was like, when I heard you, I was like, this man's spitting now. Okay.
Like he is on one.
Yeah, he was like, I mean, like I knew because there was another song that Devils that you put out. I was like, this is such a petty song. And then you took that to another level with Bomb. And I was like, okay, like it's because I know you, right? So it's like I know you. So it's like, okay, like I can, as an artist, like I can appreciate this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's one thing about Bomb that's special about it, and a lot of the new music, especially Bomb. Though I think Bomb's like the first point of it is like if you hear lyrics in Bomb, you know for a fact that that's how I talk and that's how my humor is as a person. Like the way I stupid jokes like that, I'm gonna say at a regular conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you know the whole atheist praying to God line. Very dark. That's kind of dark humor.
That's
like,
very dark.
Yeah, but like if you know me, that's my humor. That's how I talk. And I'm a goofy guy. Like the music's very serious, but I'm a goofy ass person. Like that shit's always been me.
Yeah.
So it's crazy you say Bomb because I feel like when I put that out, I was super nervous. I was sounding so mild. I was like, bro, this song is out there. Like I've had lines before, but this is just like out there. I'm out here selling a love potion, like I'm trapping. Like you know everything from the video, but I had to put it out there with confidence. I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Boom, and a lot of people like it. They mess with it. And it was an encourager for people. That song too, like the term "back to my bullshit" can mean a lot of things. Like, oh yeah, I'm back to doing this. For some people, I'm back on some hoe shit. For me, it was like just talking about, hey, I was down and out for a year and a half, almost died. I lost all this weight. And now, like, hey, what's up, bitches?
You got more swagger to your step. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to represent.
Right.
And,
I got that right away. So I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is about. We're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, speaking to whoever's like watching or listening out there, speaking of like this dude's, you know, you said you're a goofy personality and like you have some really dark humor. I remember one time, like during when I was still working on Dark Matter, I sent you like I'm cracking up here remembering this now. Like I was working on the Villain 2 at the time. And I sent you like a really rough demo.
Really early mix.
Really early. Before Tom, shout out to Tom. He's another mutual friend of ours. Before he even touched on it, like it was super grimy. It was super it was super ill, you know what I mean? And I do miss that version. And then like I remember you said you were obsessed with that version of that song. And then I remember you told me one time that, you know, like you were with somebody at the time, I think, and then like you put that song while you were making love or something like that. It was one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard in my entire life. But knowing you, that's not surprising.
Oh my God. Okay, I think I remember. I think
it made me question everything. At that point.
Oh my God. I think it was something like that. I remember it was coming back to me. I remember messaging you about it because I do love that song. I love that version.
Yeah.
When I first heard it one time, I was like, oh my God, this is dope. And I'm vaguely remember, I think I was with some chick or something and stuff was going down. And I was like, I'm about to set the mood, girl. Like
the funny thing is that song is actually about infidelity too. That's
what made it the spirit of the song, man. It was the spirit of the song.
That was what made it even more hilarious. It's like I always think about that conversation whenever like even hearing you know, rap on Bomb, it's like, oh, this is not surprising. You know what I mean? Like this dude really is back in his bag. You know what I mean? It's like it's comeback season for you.
It really is, man. I when I uploaded my best life, man, I remember looking back on that day and just being like, this is the happiest I've been in a long ass time. Genuinely happy. And I know for a fact that shit happens in life again.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I'm gonna go through some bullshit again. Like,
right.
But I feel like this time I prepared for something bad to happen. Not like something drastic is gonna happen, but you know, there's days that suck. You know what I mean?
It just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. Just some shitty days, and I feel like I'm better in a better place of mind to approach those days, and but overall still be happy about life and shit. And from what happened to me being hospitalized, I always pinpoint every bad situation I'm in right now, and I pinpoint it. I compare it to that, and I'm like, I've been so much worse. Like, I'm good, you know?
Yeah, that's good. That's that makes me happy that you were in a better space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, but yeah. So let's talk about Unfiltered music, because I mean you have because that's basically your brand, right? Because you have a very unfiltered personality. Like you ain't got no filter, and I love you for it. But what is Unfiltered music, and how did that start?
So Unfiltered music started back in 2017 when I was doing a little more of the Christian hip hop route. And back then it represented just being authentic to who you are, about your struggles, about your faith, and just being who God made you to be.
Right.
Fast forward from 2017 to now, my content is no longer the same.
Yeah.
But it's not on no bad terms. It's not like, oh yeah, I got tired of rapping about Jesus, or I denied my faith. Like I've seen a lot of big time Christian artists do.
Right.
It's just I felt like I wasn't in a place of life where I was walking the walk, and I felt like my music should represent that as well.
Right.
And I'm not someone that's double minded.
No.
If I'm gonna be about something, I'm gonna be about it. And I just didn't feel, you know what I mean? And it wasn't for like, oh, I think I'm gonna get more money or I'm gonna get more views if I start cussing. Like it was just more like I feel comfortable doing this. Like
right.
And I think that's a lot of for me. I feel like no one can really argue that like, oh, like you just turned your back on Christian music. No, I didn't. Like
no,
I felt like I was being comfortable as an artist, and you know, shout out to my friends that still do Christian music, like you and Kyle, that still put that content out. Like I love it. Like the world needs that still.
Well, I wouldn't say that Mars Luna is Christian music. I wouldn't.
No, you're right. Yeah,
I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of spiritual undertones in some of the songs.
Yeah, a lot of inspiration.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that it is. Kyle more so. Is more direct about it than me. Yeah. Continue.
So that's what Unfiltered represented back then. Now it's more. It's along the same lines as more being true to yourself, being honest of who you are, and if you're going through shit, go ahead and talk about it. If you know, if you've been through just pretty much being unfiltered, and I feel like my music still is very representative. Is a good representation of what Unfiltered is. Back then we had a collection about me and 3 other artists, including Kyle. And you know, it was good. You know, they're no longer doing music as much as like the rest of us were back then. But it pretty much is just me now. Right now it's just a brand. If something was to happen down the road where somebody else wants to partner with me as an artist, or you know, whatever happens for me, I'm open to it. Right now it's just a brand that I'm representing, and it's pretty much the style of my music, I would say.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, like even like hearing some of your music now, it feels more of an accurate representation of what unfiltered music should be like.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that like I'm promoting like, you know, going wayward or whatever, but like if you're, like you said, if you're about it, then you know you got to go all in on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's what authenticity is, and I feel like sometimes, like in, you know, because I never got the impression that you were like purposely running away from what you believed in either. You know what I'm saying? I never got that vibe from you. But it's just like, like you said, like stuff happens in life, and what happens in life is like it's all about how you respond. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, and like sometimes you got to respond to, you got to kind of let stuff out like the way, way it works best for you. You know what I mean? And I think, again, and this is not like a shade at Christianity or whatever, because I'm very, my convictions are very much there. But like, I feel like sometimes when we talk about authenticity as, believers and stuff like that, it's a very much a branded version of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain kind of, like, it's not like some people have gone through some really dark stuff, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes like things are, things happen, you know what I mean? And if people, respond in a way that doesn't make you comfortable, then it's like, people got to deal with stuff the way they got to deal with it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just be there for them, like genuinely be there for them. And I feel like that's something that the capital C church can be better at. And for myself, I have to be better at that. It's a weird line. It's a weird line to navigate through, because like I mentioned earlier, optics are everything sometimes, and it shouldn't be. Yeah, I didn't mean to go like super deep on that, but like,
no, I mean, that's a good perspective, for real.
But yeah, like I never got that impression that like, oh, you were running away for your faith, because I still see some, some stuff, praises to God on there, even though it may not be expressed in a way that makes everyone comfortable. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I appreciate that.
But that's the dichotomy of like, that's the dichotomy I struggle with as an artist sometimes. It's like, because you want to express things in a super authentic way as possible, right? But you still got to be mindful of like, oh, you don't want to step on these toes, you don't want to step on that toes. If you look at like, even in the New Testament, talking about like how Jesus hung out with sinners, right? But he wasn't really like, he wasn't, he was hanging out with the tax collectors and like, the lowest of the low at the time, and that, in that, hierarchy and all that government stuff, right? And then, but I don't think he was just there because he loved them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was, and I think like sometimes it's just one of those things, like we gotta, Christians, and I'm including myself too, like gotta love people who are struggling better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of always been my MO. And like, so yeah, that's kind of a little tangent there. But like, if we're talking about being authentic, you gotta see through the grimy stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. No, definitely. That's the hardest part to see. Get through that area.
Because I mean, your dad was a pastor too, right?
Yeah, so my dad's a pastor.
Oh, he is a pastor. Okay.
Yeah, he's still a pastor. But yeah, I just remember being brought up in church my whole entire life. I'm always gonna say, like, I've met friends that had abusive religious parents.
Right.
I would never say my parents were anywhere near that. They were very much, they didn't shove it down our throats, but they were very persistent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I couldn't, I have a girlfriend since I was 18. I couldn't listen to bad music and stuff like that. They wanted to control what I watched. Like, they were they were your typical Christian parents. It's like Harry Potter's the devil. Like, but man, like they were, as an adult now, they're understanding where I'm at in life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they accepted it. I would say I gave them a little bit of a heartache. Some of the stuff I did, a couple years back, just running around doing a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But they accept me for what I'm doing right now and the music I'm doing, and they know I'm not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. I think as Christians, people need to just love their family members that aren't walking the walk, and just be an example at the end of the day.
Right. No, for sure, because like, and that's honestly the best you can do, because like, I feel like, because sometimes I try to, think through things from like what an unbeliever would think. You know what I'm saying? Because like I've had church hurt in the past, so it was just and there's a lot of trust that needed to be repaired, right? So it's just kind of like, thankfully, God worked through that, and I'm in a better place with church now. But like sometimes I think about it and just be like, we're talking about authenticity, I'm not. It's just more so like you said, you gotta. Your example is the proof that people need sometimes.
Yeah.
More so than like the overtly holier than thou stuff.
Yeah.
I guess if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get you. That's why my goal. That's why I feel what music always wants to do. Like I got church people that mess with my music, and they're like, "Yo, I can vibe with this," and I got meth heads that mess with my music too. And so,
right.
I feel like I'm not that I'm walking a fine line. I feel like I'm doing a good job at reaching who I want to reach with my music.
No, not for sure. That's what's up. I can definitely see that for sure. So,
Thanks.
so every time, so to all the listeners out there, YouTube viewers out there, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. If you like what you heard and watched, feel free to subscribe and check out Nick's music on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, wherever you listen to music. Just type in Roman and you'll find something there. So at the end of every episode, I usually have a closing question. And usually it's either like really philosophical or really general or a really fun question. And before I get to that final question, just a debriefing on this podcast. For those who may not know, ML Backstage is basically a backstage look at or a behind the scenes look at my alter ego character, artist thing named Mars Luna, who is the self-proclaimed cosmic prince from the sixth dimension. This podcast this episode or this podcast is basically like a time capsule of like, to keep track of like all the projects and singles and songs and stuff that I did and people that I, that have impacted me with the music stuff, like Nick, like Roman. And I could look back on this for like years and years and be like, oh, this is where I was during this season. This is where I was when I worked on this song or this album or whatever. So that's basically what this podcast is about. It was originally created out of frustration, but now it's it's something that I try to do every month. So thank you for watching and listening. And so Nick, I guess since we were talking about my best life, the question that I have to close out the episode is, what does your best life look like? Your ideal best life look like? If you had everything that you ever wanted.
On a beach with a Corona. That's my best. Nah, just playing. Nah, my best life, man. I'm a simple person. I'm real simplistic. It's the small things in life that make me super happy, bro. Like, I can kid you not, like, bro, I could smoke a blunt and watch the 4-hour Justice League movie on HBO Max and be the happiest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, my best look, as a generalization, my best life, what that looks like for me is content.
That's good.
But in a good content. There's a bad content where like, oh, I came this far in life and I'm cool with what I have. Like, this is enough for me. And I don't want to do anything better with my life. But me, my version of content is like, yo, like, I'm happy with what I have. I got a job that pays me. I got food in the fridge. I got a place to live. I get to make music. That to me, that's happiness. That's my definition of a best life. And most importantly, is the people that I have in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to hold on to a lot of not so healthy or toxic relationships, whether it was friendships, whether it was girlfriends. But now I'm in a place in life where the only thing I'm holding on to is what's going to benefit me as a person and what's going to make me happy, which is friends and family that I have in my life right now. You know, and so that's my definition of my best life, is being super content with what God has given you and what you've already worked for. So that's my definition of a best life.
That's what's up. It's all about perspective, right?
Exactly. And I feel like what we did with the song, I feel like that's pretty much what it was. It's a very much representation of that. The whole barbecue with the homies things and having a few beers, like that's very much representation of what my definition of happiness in a visual way. Like if I was to capture it visually, I would do it all over again with the barbecue scene. Just because, like, at the end of the day, it's the people that make your life what it is sometimes, I think.
Right.
And I'm blessed to have some of the best people in my life, man. And yeah, that's my best life. And I feel like I'm living it. I feel like I'm gonna do my best to live it. And I think other people should look. My dad always said this: take the meat and throw away the bone. And that kind of goes with just any situation. And life's gonna hit you. Life's gonna throw bullshit at you. But you gotta take the meat and throw away the bone. And what are you gonna do with it?
Right.
You know.
I like that. That's fire.
Appreciate that.
I would say, because I have different answers for this question. Because my best, because there's different aspects of life, right? Like there's professional, there's a personal, you know what I'm saying? Personal aspect, all those things. And I think my best life for me, I would say I'll start with the professional aspect first. Is professionally, my best life professionally is basically, finish everything that I set out to do. Like there's a lot of things that I want to do. It's not just music. Like part of the reason why Mars Luna has such like a whole arc to him is because I want to turn him into an actual character after I'm done with making music as him. So like making like children's books and comic books and and all those kind of things. And I feel like it could fit right into that lane. And I've always kind of felt like Mars Luna is kind of like a diet version of David Bowie, who constantly reinvents himself. And like even me coloring this hair was for him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of more so like making music, turning like taking on every single creative medium that I find fulfillment in is, what I'm saying, is like is my best professional, creative life, I guess. And I would also say personally, kind of similar to what you said about, contentment, and because like you said, there are varying levels of contentment where there's, a good contentment where it's like you're at peace, what I'm saying, with, the thing with the decisions you made and like the choices you made and stuff like that, and at peace with like you said, the the people that you have around you, and like, what I'm saying, and like you're able to do the things that you want to do. I would say just generally, be at peace and have real joy in my life, because it's like, because melancholy is like can be a real hellhole sometimes.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And you know that. And I would say like internally, like finding real joy and real peace is, that's internally what my best life is. Externally, it's to know that, okay, maybe one day have a wife and kids of my own, and reverse the generational curses that that my ancestors passed down onto me, and like being able to set the new example for the future generations to come. Like, that's another aspect of it, as well as like knowing that I'm, generational wealth and all that kind of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of different aspects, but I would say those are the few elements that constitute my best life.
Gotcha.
If you want to call it that. So yeah, Roman, appreciate you coming on. It was fun talking to you and getting to know you. Getting to know your backstory, your perspectives on music and life and everything. This is a conversation that was really, edifying and fruitful for me. So I really appreciate you, bro. Glad you're in a better headspace and heart space and everything in life. And just know that whatever you need, bro, I got you.
Appreciate it. I think you for inviting me, man. I think this is fun. I was looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk music with people that do music. You know what I'm saying? With like no shade to like friends and family that don't know music. No. But it's a certain familiarity, and
there's a certain kind of camaraderie for sure.
Exactly, and that's. And me and Kyle had that a lot when we used to roommate together. Even before he left, we just a lot of conversations. We had a lot of conversations about hip hop, music, and stuff like that. To have a conversation again with somebody about music, like it's dope. Shout out to Kyle. He's out there doing his thing.
I gotta have him on this. I gotta have him on sometime. But
you better have like 3 meetings set up, bro.
For real, bro. Like it's but that man's been MIA. I don't know where the heck he's been. But so Nick, just as a formality, where can people find you on like social media, websites, and music, all that kind of stuff?
You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/official Roman music. You can like my music, like my page there. Instagram is at Roman_official music. Mm-hmm. TikTok is Roman_official music. And you can try to find me on Twitter. I don't use it as much, but if you do, I don't even know what the handle is.
Twitter's a wash anyway. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Luna B Joshua. You can find all the music stuff on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. You can follow Mars Luna on Spotify and Apple Music. You can also follow Roman on Spotify and Apple Music as well. Got new songs and new videos every month, every other month, or every month?
Every month.
Every month. And you can follow my music website at itsmarsluna.com. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Hope you all enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned for this summer because it's project season coming up for Mars Luna, and they got a bunch of music coming up. So this summer is about to be real busy for myself and for Roman. So,
they're not ready.
Yeah, they're not. I'll actually send you some stuff after. But yeah, hope you all have a great rest of your night. And stay tuned hope you all enjoy this episode, and stay tuned for the next episode next month. Take care, guys.
Good night.
Thank you to Roman for coming on this episode. What a fascinating conversation. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the ML Backstage podcast. If you liked what you heard, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to us on Apple and YouTube at ML Backstage. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. You can find all my music on Spotify and Apple Music and on my website at itsmarsluna.com. You can find Roman on Facebook at Official Roman Music, Instagram and TikTok at Roman_official music, as well as Apple Music and Spotify. Stream My Best Life and watch the music video for it. Thank you all for listening, watching, and hanging out with us. Hope you're all enjoying this episode, and stay tuned for the next one as it's about to be album season and the first wave of music starts next month. Bye!